But don't be ashamed if you get confused when you talk to your friends or you watch the news. They try to tell you where it all went wrong. Now you don't need to argue, just sing this song. It was rich people stacking the deck, rich people with big fat checks, rich people, they're having a ball, rich people been us all.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Eat the Rich. I am Emily Walsh, and I am here with my co-host and husband, Danny Moss.
What up?
What? You know what?
Just
so much.
a quick cue. What up?
What up?
Yeah.
The sky, the S&P, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a financial term.
Spain is doing well.
What is?
Spain.
Spain. Good for
the
them.
country of
They
Spain.
probably feel happy.
Because of the
World Cup.
correct.
The Cup of the World.
The cup of the world, they say.
I watched 0 minutes.
Yeah, I also, it was a thing that I wanted to care more about.
I think we'll catch it next time.
Yeah.
I understand that's 4 years away, but I think we'll catch it next time.
This is not a, savage American not liking, the world sport.
No, we just have a child.
We just have a child.
And we don't like her to look at screens.
And a podcast. And
jobs. And
jobs.
stuff.
But in 4 years from now,
she'll watch. Maybe she'll
yeah
be a footballer.
Yeah, maybe she'll be goal and she'll run around.
The beer garden.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
Where are you at beverage wise, my friend?
Bev wise, I could use more Bev. Frankly.
Baby Bev watch.
Yeah, I only had one coffee today.
Oh,
it was weak.
That is weak.
And I took a nap at lunch.
Honestly, congratulations.
Thank you.
I would have loved a nap at lunch.
Yeah. But how was your day? How's your Bev sitch?
Good day. Good baby Bev, but baby up at 5:30 like she loves to do these days. Coffee in the morning.
Up early girly.
She's an up early girly. Went to the beach, Frankie's first beach day.
Ooh, beach day.
And that was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot. You know that like really good feeling you get when you've had a big fun beach day.
Sure.
You're kind of tired.
Yeah. You're like, oh.
Ugh, and you take a really great shower and then you take a nap.
Yeah.
You can't do that if you have a baby.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to give them a shower, and you stay
sticky,
sandy, and gross, and then they nap in the car, so there's no napping.
Yeah, and they don't want to take extra nap because
they
don't know the glory of the post-beach nap.
No, and they, so different.
But
I had an afternoon
experience.
coffee that I got at the beach.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure it was some old water that they made brown.
old brown water, yeah.
Did very little for me.
Yeah.
Cost $7, so I feel great about all of that.
Sure.
And then Frankie just didn't want to be chill today, so she's sleeping now. Fingers crossed.
Nice.
It is Monday night. We're back to being bad at this, but.
Yeah. We're on a,
it's going to be great.
There's an upswing coming.
I feel like I have a weird, radio calmness. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah, it's fair. I did hear some of Fox Sports' coverage of the World Cup.
Oh, yeah?
While I was at the barbershop. And apparently this is the best World Cup that has ever happened.
Why?
In the greatest country in the world.
Oh.
Because this is America.
Surprised Fox News even talks about soccer.
We were,
That's the sport of liberals and socialists.
They literally, there was a good segment where they were like, I'm just so excited about all of the new people that learned about soccer for the first time. And then all of the people that learned to love America, because clearly they all did.
They love ranch dressing is what they love.
Yeah. Yeah,
people are flying home. And also, Europe, you can't make fun of us anymore. If you flew ranch dressing home,
right?
You can't make fun. I'm sorry.
That's it. We're all the same now.
Flying with your own ranch made you the same as us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Get over it.
You're affected.
You're affected.
Yeah.
All right. So we're talking famine.
Yeah. Give me
feast or famine. Still famine. If you're wondering.
Still famine.
Still famine.
Okay.
This is part 2 of the Irish potato famine. And as always, our source for this series is The Graves Are Walking. The Great Famine and the Saga of the Irish People by John Kelly.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to
The
do a
ominous-
big recap
ominous-
because honestly, we just kind of covered potatoes and how they're
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
But do you have any specific important thoughts?
Well, I remembered how the potatoes turn to goo, and
They turn to goo.
Then if they're not stored properly, then the ones in storage can also gooify.
Yes.
And there was some people that came up with a big plan for turning them into like basically rice cakes,
the
but
potato
potatoes.
triumvirate.
The potato triumvirate.
Can't
But
forget
that
them.
was 1, ineffective, 2, inefficient, and 3, kind of a waste of time.
The biggest problem was they came up with a new way to store the potatoes, spent a lot of money and time handing out pamphlets about the way to store potatoes
The pamphlet guy did well.
that people could not read, and
Right.
it did not work.
Right. And then that was also on the like last, 20% of potatoes that were left anyways?
Yeah. So the famine starts in 1845. We are still in 1845 in this
Okay.
moment. Our prime minister, his
You
last
wouldn't
name.
say 1840 thrive.
I would not.
No.
Even if it had been good, I wouldn't have said it. The prime minister is a guy with the last name of Peel.
Oh, yeah.
And all of the Brits, because Ireland is part of the UK at this moment, are like, hey, we're going to try to help you, but we're not going to help you too much.
Right.
Because people who need a lot of help are weak of character, and it's not the circumstances that surround them. It's that they are bad, undeserving people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously, I agree with the Brit. No, but so they've come up with this Irish Relief Committee. A guy named Rolfe is in charge of that. They are trying to get American corn, aka maize,
Right.
to the people.
But they don't know. They don't have any way to process the corn.
They don't know how to
or
eat it. They don't know how to process
and
it.
the potato triumvirate is holding on to the corn anyways because
Yes.
they're trying to like do weird market nonsense.
Well, they don't want. So the Brits don't want to give them corn to feed them. They want to give them corn to control the market price of other food. So basically, the Brits are trying to use this entire situation as a way to convert them to a money system, not a barter system,
Right.
and to convert their landowning system into something that looks more like the Brits. Meanwhile, the Irish are poorer than they've ever been, and now the one food that was keeping them alive is gone.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
I was trying to come up with a way of saying that at this point we don't think the Irish and the British are the best of spuds, do we?
Send me strength. Potato triumvirate. Send me strength.
Yeah. They weren't good at. They could send you a pamphlet about strength, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Queen Victoria is still in charge, and her uncle, the Duke of Cambridge,
Vicky.
was like, the famine is silly. They can eat grass. Like, it's,
Oh God. Yeah.
That's kind of where we left off last week, and the Brits are still not paying much attention to the crisis.
I wonder how potato consumption around the world is. In terms of like, were the British eating a lot of potatoes as well?
No one relied on it the way Ireland did.
Right, right.
Their biggest export is beef. So I don't think many people were. I think most people were like, oh, no potatoes.
Yeah, well, it's part of why I'm wondering whether they were just like, no potatoes. I only eat potatoes once every like 3 weeks. Who cares?
No, that's not why they're shitty.
Okay.
So, meanwhile, while the Brits think that not much is happening, in the town of Tullicreen,
Sure. I'll take your word for it.
Tullicreen, you shouldn't. A group of Irish constabulary officers and a work crew started going up and down the streets of this town with a pack of dogs, stopping at cabins like Thomas Walters, who had a wife, 10 children, and a couple of acres. But their stuff was tossed into the streets, their pigs were confiscated, and their walls were smashed.
Why? Why the
Another,
dogs?
a widow with 7 children. A priest wrote to the Dublin paper that they were ready for Christmas and their rent was paid and they had not committed a crime. And a few days later, a bailiff whose job included collecting rent was beaten by a group of masked men and told his wife to not post any notices or collect any rent.
What are these?
So basically, the constabulary officers are
Yeah.
throwing people out for kind of no reason.
Got it.
Kind of evictions, but kind of no reason.
Uh-huh.
And then this group of masked men are the people being thrown out, and they beat the crap out of the guy who comes to collect the rent and told his wife, hey,
Got it.
it's a real, like, I won't tell you where we're going, who we're fighting, and why, kind of thing.
Just get
Yeah,
there.
and then he's like, whose car we taking?
Sure.
You get it.
From
The town.
The town. Yeah.
So a week later,
Do you think these constabularies, they weren't horse like mounted, were they?
just say the pun.
Spudley do right.
I'm gonna kill you. It's too much too early. We got a lot to get through. You gotta come up with something else.
Okay. Mashed
I'm gonna
potatoes.
kill you with a weapon. A week later, in Limerick, there were a mixed group of constabularies who were met by a large crowd with pitchforks, shovels, rocks, and whiskey.
Oh.
Not a great or a really fun combination, depending on who you are. And they were worried about mass evictions and said that they would die before they allowed that. But when the police advanced on them, they dispersed after 3 demands. Basically, they were like, hey, get out of here. And they were like, no,
Beat
please.
it, or we'll throw whiskey
Great.
at you.
Okay, fine, we'll go. They would have just opened their mouths.
Yeah.
But the police did come towards them, and peasants were clubbed to the ground. So things are getting
This is some rough stuff.
very quickly. In mid-January, so this is like a few months. So this is now 1946, but we're just a few months in from harvest. Like in mid-January, the hunger really began. Some people had a week's food, some maybe up to 4 weeks, but some towns were, quote, eating food from which so putrid and offensive that in consuming it, they were obliged to leave the doors of their cabins open.
Because of fat?
No, because the food is trash.
Oh.
They're eating trash.
Yeah. Okay.
Food prices were also on the rise. The year before, a stone, which is 14 pounds of potatoes, cost 3 pence in Belfast, and now it is 6.5. So in a year, it's already more than doubled. And the pig cost was the only thing going down because people were dumping their assets. So the market was flooded with pigs, which is, I learned from Gould, how the market works. So a pig went from 44 shillings to 35.
Wow.
The problem with that is the pig is often the last asset of a lot of these peasant farmers.
Uh-oh.
So now they're getting even less for...
Yeah. And the pig was staying inside because it's the one that made
It's the one that pays rent. Yeah, which I still don't fully understand, but that's okay. So one newspaper printed that a woman reported that you could feed your family for 9 shillings a week, but a laborer at best could earn 6.
Oh.
And that's not even counting clothing, shelter. That's just food.
That's like bare minimum.
Bare minimum. And people with lots of daughters were in trouble because while women are doing a lot of work, they're not necessarily getting a wage. Meanwhile, oat, wheat, butter, and beef are all still giantly exporting. That's not a phrase. They're leaving. They're
Sure.
They're leaving Ireland. The British war steamer Stromboli,
Oh.
it's a boat,
Okay.
came into Galway Bay, and when the townspeople woke, their guns were trained on the harbor. So the warship is like pointed at the harbor. And a few weeks later, Daniel O'Connell.
The Stromboli was threatening them?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Tough times.
I was waiting for the pun, but you
No, I
respected me.
didn't have a pun. I just
Yeah.
the name did not, the seriousness of what was happening does not connect to the name.
Was not evoked by Stromboli. No. So a few weeks later, Daniel O'Connell, I don't know if you remember him. I'm pretty sure they called him the Great Liberator. He's the labor movement guy. Mm-hmm. He went to Parliament and read a list of what had been exported to Britain in 1845. 200,000 heads of livestock, 2 million quarters of grain, several 100 million pounds of flour. There were 5 million people on the verge of starvation at that point. 8 million in the country, 8.2. 5 million are on the verge of starvation. And that, quote, neglect in the present instance will be death to an enormous amount. So he is going to Parliament. He's like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not messing around.
Yeah.
We're going to die.
Yeah, we need to sort this immediately.
Yeah. So fear was growing, but a new constabulary report said that it wasn't as dire as Irish papers were suggesting, that it had claimed between 1/4 and 1/3 of the potatoes and not 5/8 of the potatoes, like the commission said.
But
and it's
all
like,
of them were still, it was the only thing propping up this entire...
also, why have a commission if you don't trust it? It's their commission. And they're
Right.
like, the commission is wrong.
Yeah.
There was also, according to this report, a substantial amount of beef and grain. So if famine happened in the spring, it was because of high food prices and bad distribution of the food. So the plan
Yeah,
to...
bad distribution because they keep sending it all away from the country.
Correct. So the plan to help them was a 2-tiered system to distribute this government corn that they're
There's
going
like
to
a
get.
lot of tears, actually.
It is.
Because of crying.
Yes, it's more than 2.
Yeah.
For sure.
You get it.
It's tears of tears.
Tears of tears. Tears of tears.
They're all in a tower crying. It's just very sad. So commissariat depots would supply the populated areas, and the Coast Guard would make sub depots for the less populated areas. The corn would cost a penny a pound, and London would match grants of up to a pound for every pound. Money wise, that's confusing, but they would match grants up to a pound for every pound raised in contributions from the gentry. So we talked about this a little bit last time, but the English have this system that's like not a law, but it's how they operate, where the poor is helped by the middle and upper class.
Okay. Yeah.
They're expected to give donations. So the UK is like, we're going to give you all of this Irish corn, but the wealthy of Ireland need to pay for it and help get it here. So London's like, we're going to match your gentry contributions. And it's like, great, 0 plus 0 is 0.
Yeah.
So in January, the proprietors didn't want to give their money because they were worried about the upcoming spring, which makes sense. And Peel, the prime minister, knew this might happen. So he said he would publish their name in the paper to shame them and say that the food was contingent on their donations. But that did nothing.
Because they're very pamphlet forward. And what is a
Yes.
newspaper if not a big pamphlet?
One big pamphlet. So at the end of January, the chairman of the Relief Commission said that they would need a big change and that the city would need to give them 500,000 instead of 50,000 like they had promised. Like he is like, this is a problem. So Home Secretary Graham dismissed him and even cut down the commission to 3 people. Dr. Kane, Mr. Twistleton.
Oh, the Twistleton.
He's the guy who doesn't want to help nobody.
Yeah, we hate him too, but his name is also silly. His name
very
is
silly.
about as silly as the Stromboli
Yes.
for how bad he is in this story.
And Ruth. So Ralph. Ralph.
Right.
So he could have maybe made that money with a temporary tax on the gentry, but he did not want to lose the votes. So Peel could have maybe brought in some of that money by taxing them instead of being like, could we just please have it?
Dude, what if we just please...
But he didn't want to lose the votes.
I'll put your name in the newspaper.
No news is bad. They're like, hey, I'm in the newspaper. So by December, Mr. William Hewitson, an obscure part-time commiserate officer, was going to superintend the distribution of the American corn. Why is he in charge? Nobody really knows.
Nobody knows.
But it was going to be milled and sacked in Cork City and then delivered to the depots that would sell it at Cork. And he was going to be in charge of the milling operations because he had sent a letter bragging to Peel about being an authority on American corn. He was like, guys, I've eaten it. I know it. I love it.
And no one is doing any follow-up research
Nobody
on that
really
claim?
checked in on that claim.
Okay,
And
so I take it he's not an expert on...
I believe he's seen a drawing of it.
Okay, he's seen a picture of corn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a picture. There's no photography.
Right. Mental picture.
Mental drawing. I said drawing because I meant drawing.
Right,
He's
no,
seen a
it
drawing.
makes sense. I know. I'm just trying to backpedal my... I'm trying to save face here.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So Cork,
Cork.
the town.
The town, not the substance.
No.
Wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's its own thing. I don't know. But they're currently having a last season of normalcy. Cork is not as desperate as some of the other places. And it had been known for creating an unbeatable barrel, the best cask. So he...
Is it their coopers that they're proud of or their brewers?
Coopers.
Nice.
That's the barrel making.
Yeah,
people.
I'm good at making barrels.
So Hewitson was there to see where they could mill this corn, but he was keeping it a secret for some reason. And there was a place called Lee Mills that had a storage capacity of 18,000 barrels. They had grinding stones and they had kilns, and they could grind and dress 800 barrels of grain a week. He's also doing a terrible job because he already has gotten the numbers wrong on what the mill expects to be paid and the output of what they're going to be able to provide.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, they said they can do 600, but he told them 500 a
Got
week.
it.
So it's like he's not doing a great job. And he was not in any way prepared because he did not know that American maize was processed in steel mills not with steel, not stone. So grinding stones would not be able to do it.
Got it. So like a normal like wheat grinding mill is a stone mill.
It's not going to work.
And
Yeah.
they use steel grinders to do
American corn.
Got it.
Yeah. So he is like, okay, well, it's a stone mill, so we got to figure out a different stone that can work. So he called in some experts, and he also chose a milling procedure that was very complex. So this is a quote from the book. It began with 8 hours of kiln drying to prevent the corn from spoiling, followed by 48 hours of cooling, grinding. The next step was followed by a second cooling period of 48 hours, then sacking, and a third cooling period of a day or two, and then the corn could be safely shipped. So I think they didn't really have a great explanation on like how long the expert. They were like, he's an idiot. It's going to take 6 days. I think it could have taken 2 to 3, but it didn't really say like, this is definitively what it would be. They were just like, this guy, am I right? And it was going to have to take even longer because the stones had to be kept wider apart than they normally were and not driven too quickly, or else it wouldn't work. I'm not really sure why.
Maybe
I don't
break
understand.
down the stones or gum it up or something.
And also, even this guy is incompetent to the point that even the sacks that he picked out to be the packing sacks were hard to choose. And he chose 4 different options, but then the seller of the sacks didn't tag the ones he picked. So then they didn't even have the bags like ready to go. And then there were strikes of the millers. The people doing it struck. So by February, it was only producing around 600 barrels compared to the 800 to 1,000 predicted. And while 230,000 bushels of American corn were due to arrive in the next few weeks, they would only be able to process 30,000 by May, when the worst of the hunger was supposed to begin. So that is about like a 15th, maybe, of what they have they're going to be able to process to make it edible.
Yeesh.
Then Twistleton said, no, the workhouses are still not going to help with outdoor relief. Because if you remember Twistleton, he's basically in charge of the workhouses where the poor can agree to essentially be prisoners. Their families are shamed. They work by the day, and they do get 3 hots and a cot, but nobody wants to go there. They're not even full, and they keep being like, hey, can we at least use these workhouses to distribute this American corn? And he is like, no. This American corn on NPR.
This American corn.
On this week on This American Corn, we discuss the millers and why they're striking.
Some
Join
people
us.
will be cornering the market.
Boo! Okay. So the Treasury also didn't want to purchase any food because they were worried it would raise prices in Irish markets. So finally there was a compromise, and Ralph turned to military depots.
Got it.
But the military depots only had biscuits, and they wouldn't compromise. They were like, we only have biscuits, but we can't spare the biscuits because they're costly and they may be needed
If
for
you
the
can't
troops.
turn your corn into biscuits, we don't want them.
We don't want them. And private food importers were doing very little because the corn law issue was still not resolved, and so they were reluctant to act. Those are a bunch of tariffs on other foods, so they just don't want to get in there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the weather was also terrible that February, and the commercial shippers required more money to deliver the government provisions.
Needed one more thing.
We needed one more thing. The weather's been terrible this whole time, so the boats can't even make it in, and they're like, if we're going to get the boats in, you got to pay us more, and they're like, oh, boy. So the Admiralty and the Navy offered a few very slow ships, and Ralph was worried about the lack of good ports and the jagged shoreline, saying, quote, Providence had never intended Ireland to be a great nation.
No, come on.
Which is messed up.
Super messed up.
What does Rhode Island have against this country? No, you get it. But yeah, there's nowhere to park these boats on the west side of the country, basically. And so they're like, we can't even help you. There's no place to put this boat. And everything's full of rain.
I hear it's really beautiful there.
I would love to go. I think we should. But apparently it's tough
really,
for corn.
Really rude to these people who are just suffering because of, bad agricultural planning, and a macro scale that they didn't really have any control
Literally,
over.
they have no It's insane to blame them. They're just people trying to stay alive. So on a Friday in February, a man named Brian Serry was hung in front of soldiers from the Light Dragoons, which is an Irish unit of soldiers, the 8th Hussars, and the 6th Foot, because he was being tried for attempting to kill a prominent man, Sir Francis Hopkins. He swore that he was innocent, and Father Savage, who was a popular, politically calculated cleric, tried to turn him into a martyr. Sir Guy Campbell, the guy in charge, had held off the hanging for as long as he could, waiting for a possible pardon that did not come. And crimes against persons and property... I'll kill you. And because everything is terrible, crimes against persons and property had gone up 100% during the year of 1845,
Yeah, sure.
going from roughly 3,000 offenses to over 5,000. The crimes were also becoming...
Desperate people and all.
Yeah. The crimes are also becoming more gruesome. People being beaten senseless. A woman was stripped naked and thrown on burning coals.
Oh, God.
One is rough. A 15-year-old girl lost her brother and her father, and then when her mother heard about it, dropped dead in the street.
Oh, jeez.
So she just
is alone all of a sudden.
And to watch a family member die of grief because you've lost your, it's just horrific.
Haunting.
Some folks in the House of Lords in England said that Ireland was in a state of terror and was no longer a habitable country. What is wrong? We are doing this. The past 2 episodes, I've been so tired.
Yeah.
And I know that that's all we say on this podcast at this point. It's like, we're tired, but you guys get it.
One day we
we're
won't be tired.
When she's like in the 3rd grade, if we're still making this podcast, we maybe
look
won't.
forward to that. Really stick around.
We stick around 10 more years because, oof, boy. No, sorry. I just feel like I sound dumber than I want to be. But
no, you sound super smart and I love you.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
In the 1930s, there had been a lot, or 1830s, excuse me. The 1930s haven't happened yet.
That would have been crazy.
Ugh, the 1830s, there had been a lot of unrest and violence when Catholics had resisted tithing to their Protestant government, and the government was concerned. And of course, disease is now rising.
I bet the government was not chill about it.
No, they like money.
Yeah.
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 So by February, disease is also on the rise because people were trying to live off of the diseased potatoes.
Right, of course.
So they're having painful bowel disorders, nausea, diarrhea. So
their whole diet before this was very potato forward, and potatoes have not a lot of nutrients.
No.
So like now that it's even worse nutrient wise, like
Also like I don't want to talk about diarrhea too much, but there's a lot of diarrhea in this story.
Oh, I bet.
And it is often in stories where people are at their worst and most desperate. And it is, I keep thinking about it because, like, normally if an American adult these days gets diarrhea and they're not, like, super sick from something else, it's because you maybe ate something weird, you're dehydrated, you did something yourself.
Yeah.
It's an isolated incident. You're like, oh, okay, I'm going to lie down, I'm going to have ginger ale. These people are starving to death.
Yeah.
And the last bits of their body are leaving through their butt.
Dude.
And they're experiencing that while being starving.
And the one thing that they have to eat is also
is
the cause
causing
of
the
diarrhea.
problem. Yeah, it's just next level to be like we
also everybody beware Taco Bell lettuce.
Yeah, don't go to Taco Bell. I mean, you were gonna get diarrhea anyway, but don't do it.
It's worse than
It's
than
worse
we ever
now.
thought.
It's just like the point of this podcast is not to get on a soapbox and be like there's starving people other places, but there are. And it's like the idea that like when somebody has diarrhea now, you're like, this is the worst day of my life. And it's like, it's really not.
It's not.
You can still go to Taco Bell.
This diarrhea could get way worse.
Yeah. So families are, quote, sitting down to a meal of potatoes that an Englishman would be sorry to offer his hogs. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Eating trash.
It's fun, and by fun I mean not fun at all, is that like every 10 minutes I'm like, oh man, it's really rough. And then I'm like, it's going to get way worse.
Literally about to get way worse. Literally the next line is like
way worse.
So that's not going to kill them. Not unfortunately. That's not what I meant.
Yeah.
But what is going to kill them is something called famine fever.
Oh.
which I didn't know was a thing.
Good alliteration. Sounds scary.
It is. So in 1816, there had been a famine, and 1.5 million people had been affected by famine fever, and out of that 1.5 million, 65,000 had died.
Okay.
And at this current moment, there are only 101 fever hospitals in the country. I have to assume that's a place that can handle treating a fever.
Yeah.
But
and
in
maybe
my
it's
mind,
like quarantine related.
I guess. In my mind, a fever hospital is just like a kid in the 80s with like a metal mercury thermometer,
Sure.
and they've like lit it on a light bulb. They're trying to warm it up, and they got it in there, and they're like, oh no, I got to stay home and watch The Price is Right. Fever hospitals.
Christopher Walken is there with a bunch of cowbells.
Why would he be there?
Because I've got a fever.
I'm going to kill you with weapons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it was worth it, but.
It wasn't. Because you're going to die.
Okay. Somebody's going to enjoy that reference. Good for them.
If you enjoyed that reference and you think you enjoyed it more, then it made me upset. Like if your joy was higher than my rage,
Yeah.
let us know.
Yeah.
EatTheRichPod@gmail. So workhouses were authorized to provide fever care if they helped, but they were okay. Workhouses, the places that were not allowed to give
not
away
allowed
food,
to do food.
were authorized to provide fever care, but if they were to help, they would need to increase the poor rate, which is the tax on the gentry, to help them, and that's not
Right.
going to make anybody happy.
And if the military helped, they could only help with fever if it was biscuit related.
If they had biscuits.
That's right.
Are the biscuits too hot? Because we'll cool those down.
We don't know anything about people fevers. We do know about
We know
biscuit fevers.
tons about biscuits fevers. You just turn the oven off. It clears up in a matter of minutes. So in 1845, there were only 42 workhouses that made an agreement to treat fever. So already we're not doing that great. And in late February, there was a serious outbreak in County Cork from 8 to 10 people a day up to 50 or 60. And by end of February, nearly 100 localities were experiencing the, quote, final extremity of famine. Like people are officially dying from hunger.
Yeah.
And London is still kind of being calm. And the new party line in London, to kind of excuse them not helping more, is that surely the Irish had hid some food away.
What?
Because they've had to deal with so many hardships in the past. Surely they're smart enough
What?
to hide more potatoes that are also gonna turn to mush. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
There's no way that someone would be like, I'm going to just starve for 6 months, but don't worry, I got a
Because I'll
bunch of
get to
stores in the
starve for
back.
6 more after
Like,
that.
what?
It doesn't make any sense. So by March, things are devastating.
Sure.
Men are embarrassed about their need, but they're literally like in the night sucking blood from living cows
Oh.
to survive. That's where we're at.
Doing some vampire shit.
Cow vampires.
Yeah.
In the night. Night cow vampires.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Instead of
Instead of what?
instead of cow tipping, they were doing a little cow sipping.
See, the thing is,
Yeah.
if you had not wrapped
Done all
up
of that
so
other
much
stuff. Yeah, that
bad
would have been
will,
pretty good.
I would have liked that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
But you threw a bunch of garbage over here, and my cows are not going to eat it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So they're literally sipping. People are boiling seaweed. They're
Yeah.
eating grass, and women with babies are anxiously checking on them while they sleep to make sure they're still breathing. That's how hungry everybody is.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, we can't digest grass, people.
Yeah, no, it's not doing
Yeah,
nothing.
cows have like 4 stomachs to digest grass.
But you feel full maybe for a minute if you eat like
Yeah.
a lot of grass.
Yeah,
Buckley eats grass in order to poop, so maybe not the best.
and a vom.
So they were still a barter economy, but without money and without
Goods
potatoes,
or
yeah.
kind of anything.
peasants have started selling their clothing and their food, or their clothing and their shoes to buy food. And by mid-February, so we're still months in, no committees had been formed. So even if food had showed up, there was no system to distribute it.
Oof.
So a few weeks
That
later,
is a recipe for disaster. Because
We're-
if
yeah.
anything does show up, we're talking
Yeah,
riots.
we're talking riots. We're talking violence. We're talking,
Not good.
not great. So a few weeks later, hundreds of magistrates, officers, and clergymen spread out in Ireland to distribute another pamphlet. We love a pamphlet.
Is the pamphlet edible?
You know what?
I should have thought about it.
Should have thought about it. I've
Yeah.
also seen paper that has seeds in it.
Oh.
I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, sure.
Plant that paper, you'll get a tomato plant. Maybe they should have done that.
Yeah.
So it's called the Instructions to Committees of Relief Districts, and it's supposed to teach them how to do this. So in Limerick, which was a major city, they only got 500 pounds in donations. The Aran Islands only 71. So people are not donating.
That's not enough.
The Relief Commission was issuing warnings to either form a committee or take steps to preserve the good order. So basically being like,
boy.
figure out how you're going to distribute this food or figure out how you're going to stop rioting.
Yeah.
Like it's gotten rough. In Clonmel, there were already cannons at either end of town, and the streets were full of army and police. A mob broke into every baker shop and stores and took flour and 50 tons of oatmeal.
Okay.
And somebody said, here is what the armies of the dead would look like risen from their shrouds.
Ooh.
So picture that.
Yeah.
And then they just have bags of flour. I don't know what they're, I guess, going to make bread with it.
Yeah. Something.
Yeah.
Some sort of food.
But that's where we're at. There's so many.
Don't just eat flour, though.
I gotta say, if they had figured out how to monetize haunting phrasing, like if they had figured out how
Yeah.
to like write the saddest poems of all time and make a
Sure.
lot of money from
Yeah.
them, they would have been just fine.
Yeah.
Because this is upsetting.
It's pretty rough.
So as far as the Irish fighting back, there was now a rift deepening between the 71-year-old Daniel O'Connell, who we've talked about, and the 43-year-old William Smith O'Brien, who led a group within the repeal movement of Young Ireland, or called Young Ireland, and it was a group of high-minded, mostly well-born gentlemen. And he himself was a Limerick landowner descended from the medieval Irish king Brian Boru. So the biggest difference was between the two, other than the fact that O'Brien was coming from a different type of family, is that O'Connell was nonviolent to a, like, not to a fault, but to a T, or to, like, just
Yeah,
very
strictly nonviolent.
strictly nonviolent. And Smith believed that force could be justified. O'Connell was also willing to work with British politicians, but Smith saw it as essentially collaboration. Any kind of working with them was collaborating with the enemy. They did join together to fight Peel's Protection of Life bill, which is not an abortion bill. It is a crime bill, which would punish curfew violators with 15 years in Australia,
Oh.
which at this point sounds amazing.
Yeah. Could be,
Send me to kangaroo country.
Do they have potatoes down there?
Do they have potatoes and or anything else? Can I eat the snakes and spiders? Like but this is a curfew violation.
Yeah.
15 years to an
That's
island,
crazy.
to Crime Island.
Not Crime Island.
Yeah. And at this point, the parliament is more preoccupied with that than the famine. They're like, the crime bill is the top of mind. And with the politicians busy, predatory landlords went against the small tenant farmers who they thought were slowing down modernization. In March, one landowner, Mrs. Gerard, thought about converting her land to pasture land because Irish beef was making so much more money than Irish grain. So soldiers from several regiments and a party of bailiffs stormed into Ballinglass, which was a village of 270 people and 61 residences that were on her land. So suddenly, a wall of soldiers just burst through the mist. They're having their morning. They're like sitting on the
Yeah.
porch. They're thinking their Irish thoughts. These soldiers burst through. There's chaos, screaming. They're knocking down their houses because nothing is constructed. It seems as if all the houses here are scenery. Like they're literally like, then we knocked the house down. I'm like, houses should not knock down.
No, that's not how that should work.
That's not how that should work. Dogs are freaking out. And one woman, again, a haunting phrase, a woman with a child on her breast was being hunted from 3 places by the bailiffs.
Oh.
So I don't know if she's clutching the
Yeah.
child or literally breastfeeding them,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she's being pursued.
Yeah.
And she's literally like, I don't even have, there's just a puff of smoke coming out of here anyway. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing, there's just dust and cobwebs. Why won't you leave me alone? So the people there are driven into the distance, and they're trying to make new shelters of sticks and hiding behind whatever is still standing. They were driven again from this shanty town, and the bailiffs went into the ditches they were hiding in with clubs and cleared them out. And over the
These
next
people already had really rough lives. Why are we clubbing them?
And I cannot understand what they've done other than live on the land. And maybe that's all they've done. But they're like, you got to get out. So for the next few weeks, this group moved from town to town, and this woman's bailiffs, the landowner's bailiffs, are pursuing them. And they started telling people that if anyone sheltered these people, they would be evicted in the same way. So this is happening in the countryside.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's March 17th. It's St. Patrick's Day. Got to celebrate that. So at Dublin Castle, there was a 900-person ball.
Oh.
So we're doing a full let them eat grass
This is
situation.
wild.
Yeah,
This is wild.
yeah. And they're able to just tell themselves it's not happening because they're not seeing it.
Yeah.
Because again, no photography. They could paint them a mental picture, I guess. But the haunting phrasing, haunting to me, apparently not that effective.
Not haunting enough.
They're not worried about
if
grave
the people
shrouds,
in
ground shrouds, ground round to the ground round, ground shrouds, ground shrouds for the ground.
Girl, you okay?
No, I'm not. I just keep emphasizing how tired I am, and you keep saying we got to make the podcast. Shrouds from the ground go to ground round.
No idea what you're saying.
Do you know what the ground round is?
No.
Oh, that's a big part of the problem. The ground round was a TGIF style restaurant, TGI Fridays style restaurant,
Sure.
where you could always get free popcorn.
Okay.
Kids ate free on Tuesdays,
Ooh.
and they had those little ice cream sundaes in the baseball cups.
Got it.
We went there pretty much every Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it was for poor people.
Got it.
So the ground shrouds go to ground round.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, it
That
doesn't.
sounds delightful.
I would go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want a little ice cream sundae and a baseball hat?
Oh, we can make that happen for you.
You say that, but maybe you will. We'll find out. Okay.
Wow, that was a romp of sadness.
Is that the title of the episode? Romp of Sadness. So in March, the reports come out, and some places are still faring okay as far as like in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But most of the reports were showing that hunger was happening much quicker than expected, and that thousands were suffering. But also, things had been so bad for so long, kind of hard to tell. Kept being like, is this because of the potatoes?
Or is this just general state of life?
Okay. I have to tell you about a person who has possibly the most insane name
Okay.
of anyone we've ever had on this.
So I probably
talked
shouldn't
about.
take like 10 minutes to talk about it.
I mean, if you want, but what can I tell you who he is first?
Lay it on me.
So he's a senior commiserate officer in his 60s, and he is getting involved in the distribution of the corn, and he felt like they needed to put the American maize on sale before May because people are suffering and may die.
Right.
This man's name is Edward Pinecoffin.
Oh, Edward Pinecoffin.
Yeah, you know the place where you put poor dead people?
What was
If
his,
they're lucky?
What was his trade? His family trade?
Edward Pinecoffin. Mr. Pinecoffin, and he keeps coming up.
Mr.
We're going to keep
Pinecoffin.
talking about Pinecoffin.
Sounds like pine cone, but
What if
way
he was buried
grimmer.
in like a nicer box? Like, what if he
Ooh.
didn't get buried in a pine coffin?
It would be the rest of the family would be rolling in their graves.
Yeah.
They're pine coffin graves.
Yeah, I couldn't come up. Ground shroud of the ground round was my verbal tick for the week. So he's like, we can't wait till May to sell this corn. Things are getting bad. And
My name isn't Mr. Pinecoffin.
Mr. Pinecoffin. Let me tell you, as Mr. Pinecoffin, the laborers and the poor were starting to march outside of workhouses, chanting and asking for help. They're like, just help us, please.
Yeah.
And at the moment, there were only 47,403 inmates taking up beds out of 100,000. So less than half are being used. And Mr. Sullivan, the local justice of the peace, offered the people outside chanting to be admitted to the poorhouse, and no one accepted.
Yeah, it kind of is a testament as to how terrible it must have been in that place.
Yeah.
If these people who were literally starving to death were like, that's okay.
Still good on that. On March 23rd, the first death from scarcity and starvation was reported, and he was a father of 5. And meanwhile, a stone of potatoes, which again, 17 pounds, went from 3 pence to 4.5 pence. So people are in trouble. And the relief committee is still not established. And somehow hundreds of the pamphlets went missing.
No,
So
not the
now
pamphlets.
people don't even know how to form the committee if the pamphlet was even to be trusted.
No.
The government also wanted, quote, men of standing to serve on the committees, but that was not an option everywhere. It was hard work. There were tensions between the religions because, again, the Irish Catholic versus the English Protestant. Also, whoever ran the committee in each area had to be able to record all of the payments, all the distribution, everyone who got the corn. And also, they are going to start talking about public improvement projects. So we're going to get there shortly. And some of the wealthy still were not ready to admit the need, even though people are falling down dead. The weather kept getting terrible. One of the ships that was carrying the corn, the Harriet Rockwell, not the Stromboli, got caught in a gale and blown north, and some of the transportation on land was dangerous because of the people. In Cork, a supply convoy was attacked, and the sacks of corn were slashed, and people were dumping it into their hats, their pockets, and this is non-milled. This isn't like they don't even know what to do with it. And someone was shot and killed before that ended. In Cork City, a stone is now selling for 11 pence, more than twice the national average. And so they opened their food depots for 1 day early. Not 1 day early before, but like 1 day, like a month early.
Got it.
But a lot of people couldn't even afford the 1 penny for the 1 pound.
Oof.
Meanwhile, in London, they're just saying, you guys are going too slow. They're finally like, maybe we should help, but not that much, but you're going too slow.
We don't like how you're doing it. We're not going to do it.
But we're not going to do it better.
We should probably do it.
But what if we did it better? So now enters Charles Edward Trevelyan.
Ooh, Trevelyan.
Yeah, he's a fancyman. He was the assistant secretary of the British Treasury. He came from a prominent family, and he would eventually be an angry old man, but people considered him one of the greatest British civil servants that existed, and he never doubted his own moral decision. Like, he was like a man of his word.
Got it.
At 17, he had gone to the training college for the East India Company, and as an adult, he had joined the Treasury Department. And he first caught attention in the country because he was giving out free prayer books in the House of Commons. So basically walking into like the House of Representatives and being like, have you heard the good word?
These people and their pamphlets.
But it was free. They love wasting paper, these people. He was also known to have a very intense personality, but to be very smart and organized. But he did have his complex religious, political, and economic beliefs that will shape this policy. So he was a Whig, and most Whigs were more hostile to the Irish than the Tories. So he's also part of a party that typically is not nice to the Irish. But he was a moralist, which meant that he was against public assistance because he believed it took away the incentive for change to become self-reliant. So again, a policy that helps no one. Like, if you teach a man to fish, then he'll eat and we'll be mad about it. Like, it doesn't make...
We'll be so mad about it.
Like, there is, like, if you teach a man to fish, he'll eat. Like, if you feed a man to fish, but, like, you guys aren't feeding or teaching. You're doing
nothing.
Like,
You're
why
just
aren't there any
like,
fish in your river?
Excuse me, get some fish.
Eat the fish, idiot. And since he was part of the Treasury, and the Treasury controlled the commiserate and the relief funding, everything was going through him. So by mid-March of 1846, he had oversight on the relief committees, the food depots, and the public work programs. Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
The public works program was started by the Parliament on March 5th of 1886.
I do the same thing.
You do the same thing, but then I have to correct you and be like, I don't think that's what it is. And you're like, you're right. And then we keep going. Do you like my impression of me?
Yeah. You sound way cooler than your impression of yourself.
So you're saying I did a bad... No, I'm just kidding. So the goal was to give money for food to the people that needed it. The public works program was to give them wages so they could buy food. So districts would borrow government funds to do the projects, and then the local poor would earn money to buy food from the local relief committee or from a nearby merchant. So either is helpful.
Okay.
And Peel, when he planned the program, hoped that the Irish relief committees would do more than build roads. Because so far in the past, any public works program built roads. And they did kind of a bad job. And they would just be this complicated web of roads that didn't really connect. And then
wore out after the first big storm or something.
And then once the fields, once the potato situation improved, they'd be like, well, okay, good, see you later. We're clocking out now.
Enjoy the roads.
Yeah, basically. And so he was like, can we please
just do anything other than
else.
Public roads.
Yeah. What he was really hoping for was harbors, fisheries, and canals, things that could help create distribution and businesses and whatever. The problem is, if you wanted a loan from the government for a public works project to build a harbor, you had to pay that loan back right away. If you wanted to build the road, you didn't.
Got it.
Also, roads would get a 10,000, if you requested for help to build a road, you'd get £10,000 and you'd only need to pay 5 back, 5 being a grant from the government.
Which is why so many roads got
So
built.
many roads. More roads. So many districts requested up to 100 half grant loans. People are like, we want so many roads. We want a road to every house. We want roads on roads on roads. The budget had originally been 50,000 and it went up to, but they got up to 1 million applications for loans. And so that's not great. They have to up that budget. And worst of all of the applications, many of them were for things that would only benefit the people requesting them and not the poor. Their landowners being like, what if you built a barn on my property and I would use that barn for my business.
I would like a railroad going from my house to Twistleton's house.
Yeah, and that's for the poor. It's just not, not.
That's where I will be pouring my drinks. That type of pour?
Yeah.
Different pour.
I'm going to just start punching you in the leg because then people won't see it.
That sounds fair.
Trevelyan wanted to show that public money wouldn't be so easy to get anymore. He's frustrated by the roads to nowhere, so he canceled several previously approved public works projects to be like, hey, we're not doing this.
Don't need these roads.
And he instated a 4-step criteria for getting a loan. So was the district in distress or just close to distress? I guess you check a box. We're close. Getting closer. Would it employ the poor or would it employ also artisans? So if it's employing artisans, it's more likely a project that is for not the poor.
Right.
And also they're paying artisans who maybe could make money anyway. Would a special group of landowners benefit? And if so, would they help pay? So these are the things that every project will be asked, and a lot of them will not pass muster.
Sure.
So Home Secretary Graham was worried that this was all going to slow things down because now only 70,000 got approved, up from 50, but we're still going to go up, but now we're a little bit more.
Yeah.
But we're still not building enough, and heavy rains are continuing.
Got it.
The rains, they persist. So relief help also was only paid in wages. They're paying money. They're not paying food. And they could not just give food away. But a moral plague in London already existed because they had done that. So London's like, we don't give food. Because they have a self-described moral plague from feeding people. Again, it goes back to... Yeah. So in London...
Which I'm sure there's a couple of threads to pull up about that particular thing.
Yeah. In London, there were hundreds who were milling about, and there were constabulary officers holding carbines, so guns, in the doors. And these people are milling about like town squares and stuff, chanting, work, work, work. And at first I was like, work? And then I was like, I thought they were telling them to work. But then I realized they were asking jobs.
Oh, they're looking for jobs.
Looking for work.
Got it.
You got to say what you're looking for, what you need in return.
That's right.
What you can give.
We don't need any more roads.
Need any more roads. That's true. Where we're going, we don't need any
We
more
don't
roads.
need any more roads.
So a few days later, laborers in court in Dublin came in and started shouting employment, wages, which is very fancy compared to work.
Sure.
But I know exactly what they want.
Yeah, true. They want employment and they want wages.
So
they
there
probably
you go.
also want food.
Probably.
Probably.
They should have shouted that too.
Yeah.
So the unemployed at this point were sacking food shops, stealing livestock, attacking convoys, and there was a road of 13 miles between two towns that they were passing grain on. And at this point, it was now being escorted by 2 warships, 50 cavalry, and 80 infantry.
Wow.
Infantry to just get the corn 13 miles down the road.
Yeah.
Dublin Castle blamed the papers for exciting the people. So Dublin Castle, if I hadn't explained, is basically the hub of the London government or the UK government in Dublin. So Dublin Castle is like saying like the mayor's office or whatever, but not the mayor. You get it.
Yeah. Peel.
I'm an expert
Peel?
on Peel, Prime Minister Peel.
Yeah.
The Freeman's Journal, which is an Irish paper, responded with, "There is but one way of curbing the wayward violence. Feed the people."
Yeah, actually, yes, that's the one.
That's
I was gonna say, I
literally-
thought they were going to say something stupid, but that's it.
If you're full, if you're
Yeah.
too full, you're not getting in a fight.
No.
You're
And
taking a nap.
the reason they're angry is because they're hungry.
Full people are the most peaceful.
Get them a Snickers.
Literally, there's no fangry.
No.
Full angry. It's just angry. We don't have a
There's
word
no
for
fangry.
it because it's not a
Yeah.
thing.
That's right.
You get it. This guy. Am I right?
You ain't wrong.
So in April 1856, less than a year from when this started, basically,
Yeah.
the first group of people started moving away. So that is the other thing that happens. Is
Okay.
by the end of the famine, 1 million die, but 2 million move. This is
Got it.
going to be a big problem for the government. It's obviously less tragic, but it doesn't
Yeah,
help
yeah,
things. And the numbers concerned the country much less than the people who were actually leaving because they weren't the hungry people. They were the young, energetic, and relatively prosperous because they kind of saw the way things were going and they were like, I can afford
Yeah,
fare
and they
out of this
had
country.
the resources to leave,
Yes, exactly.
which
You
is
can't
like-
just leave to
Yeah.
another country with no money.
which I'm sure eventually some people did. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, they were described as well-dressed and comfortable-looking farmers and the better class of peasantry who are carrying away with them no inconsiderable share of the wealth of the country. And they were considered people who still had faith in their own futures but had lost faith in Ireland's. So that's tough.
Yeah.
So in late March, a guy named Henry Pelham Clinton, which when I saw Henry Clinton and Pelham, because Hillary Rodham Clinton, Henry Pelham, I was like, they're cousins. That doesn't make any sense. But in late March, Henry Pelham Clinton, who was the 5th Duke of Newcastle and the 12th Earl of Lincoln, and the former British Commissioner of Woods and Forests, which
When
feels
they
like
say,
a job
like-
you give a 6-year-old.
Yeah. Woods and forests?
Yeah.
When they say like 12th Duke, do you think are there 12 dukes alive or is this
I
just
believe it's the 12th in the
In
lineage
succession.
in succession, but I don't know the answer to that. But Pelham Clinton was sent over to become the Irish chief secretary. There were plenty of rumors about why this happened, but it kind of seems like the real reason was that every other more qualified person turned down the job.
Sure.
So the prime minister and the home secretary wanted the relief system moving faster because they thought that dealing with some fraud and abuse was better than dealing with starvation and violence. So they're like, even if this guy isn't the best at his job, even if there's some nepotism, feed the people. And by feed the people, I mean give them jobs because we can't just feed them.
Yeah, but you could though.
But you could.
You
is
could
a
just
thing.
feed them is all.
So Graham told him to, quote, be bold. But it was going to take a little more than that.
Sure.
So he gets in there.
Any other advice? Boldness.
Bold.
Just bold, very bold. Be undeniable.
Basically.
Yeah.
So the good news for him, for Clinton, is that his boss, his immediate supervisor, was the Chancellor and Undersecretary of the Treasury, Henry Goulburn, who dispensed all the money for relief funding, including the public works, and he had very loyal subordinates working for him who looked to him for promotions and for pay raises. So they're going to be like, we agree with your decisions. So he gets in there, he starts fighting Trevelyan right away. But the Irish Board of Works was still slowing them down, and because they were moving at a glacial pace. So the Irish Board of Works already existed. That was for the Public Works program. And the board was put right in the center of the Public Works program, handling the applications for loans for employment projects. Each project had to be personally inspected in person by a board member, and then they would be determined if the distress of that district was due to the crop failure. So are they just sad, or are they sad because of potatoes? They would need hundreds of trained men to supervise this, and they only had a small group of engineers and surveyors, so now they're already starting to hire a lot of less qualified people to get out there and look at the project.
Got it.
They created another pamphlet,
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense, called Enclosure C.
Oh.
And it's literally like, how do you lay out a road? Go from point A to point B. Like, it's not a helpful pamphlet. And complaints about the bad board roads and the bad planning have already started, and lots of times the counties wouldn't even talk, and so the roads wouldn't meet up. They'd be like, we built a north road, and they're like, we built a south road, and then they're like 20 feet away from each other.
Just like waving.
Yeah, that's why they say you take the high road and I'll take the low road,
Yeah.
and we'll meet in the morning, because
Yeah.
it's two different roads. That could be true. You
Could
don't know
be.
it's not.
I definitely don't know it's not.
You don't know it's not.
They just put a set of steps between the two roads and be like,
This is fine.
we tried.
So the higher ups in this distribution of public works were complaining that their workers didn't know what they were doing, but that they had to hire them or they wouldn't be fed. So they're like, I have to hire an idiot, and then the idiot does a bad job, but I have to pay him or the idiot dies.
Yeah.
So nobody's happy.
No.
And Prime Minister Peel really wanted the public works program to be the center of the relief, but the board was moving far too slowly. So they sent 50 officers from their ordnance survey and 6 royal engineers over, but it did not help very much. And by late April, there was still too much rain.
No.
So that was preventing the sowing season when they start to get whatever they got from last year's crop.
Cool.
So men would go at this point and hope they could replace a man who fell sick at a work site for the day. And sometimes 100 men would be waiting for one spot. And literally there was not even a spot unless somebody hurts themselves or gets sick. And one day of work would not even earn a man enough money for a stone of potatoes. So it's
Jeez.
like, if you can't even eat from, like,
you can't survive
what
off
do you-
of what you're making. Then
what are we doing? In May, finally, men were hired to sow the land. So some people stopped asking for relief for a hot second. And Mr. Trevelyan might still have a plan and sent the director of the Limerick Food Depot, Mr. Pinecoffin.
oh, Mr. Pinecoffin, he's back.
Yeah, Trevelyan sent him a book called Thoughts and Details on Scarcity.
Oh,
And
so
the first, not
a long pamphlet.
Yeah, not good vibes in this
No.
pamphlet. The first sentence was, of all things, indiscreet tampering with the provisions is the most dangerous.
Oh,
So what's he planning? What is he building
Sneaky
in there?
stuff. What's he
Sneaky
building
stuff.
in there?
I don't even know what that reference is, but you like to say it.
I do. It's Tom Waits.
See how I'm nice to you and you're not nice to me?
Ouch. Okay. Ouch. I try to be nice to you
I'm sorry, just
by
kidding.
delivering you some delicious buns.
Hot buns. Take the fever
Hot
down. Get them out
cross
of the
buns.
oven. I'm so tired.
I love you so much. We're so close.
You're falling asleep while we do this.
Who is?
So the food depots were supposed to open on May 15th, but on the 13th, only one had been fully provisioned. Pinecoffin wanted to postpone, and there were 4 different ships, hopefully en route to Ireland with their food, but they're a little slow. And the people were excited because they had kept hearing free corn, free corn,
Yeah.
free corn. Not free.
Not free.
But they were getting excited. But Mr. Pinecoffin keeps telling visiting committees that the purpose of the government corn was actually not to feed the people, but to maintain an equilibrium of prices. So he's like, first of all, we don't have it yet. Second of all,
Yeah.
I think we should postpone. Third of all, it's not going to do much for you.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Pinecoffin.
I'm Mr. Pinecoffin.
So because Peel had been even
About
blunter,
to put the last nail in his own coffin. That guy.
that guy,
Back to you, Emily.
last pail of corn. So Peel had actually been even blunter in the House of Commons the month before and said, "It is quite impossible for the government to feed our 4 million people. It is utterly impossible for us to adopt the means of preventing cases of individual misery in the wilds of Galway, Donegal, or Mayo." So basically,
So
like,
they gave up.
Sorry,
They're just like,
sorry,
they didn't.
they don't give up, but they have the lowest expectations possible for themselves, which is
Yeah.
a shitty place to start.
They're
They're
just
like,
like,
we can't do that.
Oh, just set the bar low.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
It's under the ground with the diseased tubers.
Not the tubers.
So no one in these wilds had ever heard of Peel, but they had heard about government corn. And local relief committees could buy, so each committee could buy 5 to 20 tons if they could afford it, and people could buy 1 to 7 pounds for a penny a pound. When people got there, they were shocked that they had to pay for it, but it was still a good deal. Some people walked up to 10 miles to buy this corn, and some people actually walked to the adjoining county to avoid the shame of needing to buy the government corn. Some also were interrogated by the committee of like, why do you need this? One of them being a woman.
Look around, guy.
Yeah, well, somebody was like, "You're married. Where's your husband?" And she said, "He's not here because he's literally on death's door. Like, can we please have this fucking corn?" So after the first day, a large number of the people who had purchased the corn were either pretty well fed or they were landless paupers, neither of which were supposed to buy this corn. But the committees were scared, and they were also pitying the people there, and so they did not inquire. They're like, "Here's your, I can't.
Here's your corn. I can't.
Do this. And they don't pay me enough." In the first days, the British became popular in Ireland, and many committee members were happy for some of the contributions that were finally coming in from the gentry. But Pinecoffin, Mr. Optimist, was like, the reason they're giving us money is because of the riots. He said the motive of self-preservation is strong among all of those who have anything to lose by the effect of popular tumult.
Yeah.
So basically, like, they're doing it for themselves. Don't be fooled by this small donation. So the first corn, the problem here is that a lot of people were having intestinal issues, including diarrhea, which is not what you want when you're
on
starving
top of
to
the
death.
other diarrhea that they were having.
They already have. But Roth figured out that you need to grind it twice instead of once to make it more digestible. And when he told Trevelyan that, he said, "We must not aim at making the corn anything more than comfortable. It would do permanent harm to make dependence on charity an agreeable mode of life." So the people
Yeah, they're
can
like,
die.
they're starving to death. And they're like,
and if they live through this, they're going to depend on
they're
us.
kind of depend on us. And they're like, here's this corn to save your life. We know how to prepare it properly. We
We're
did
not
not.
going to.
We're
We
not going
didn't.
to.
We didn't. But eventually he did win out, and they started grinding it twice. The second grinding helped a lot, and they also issued a new formation of what they were selling to the people, which was 3 parts corn to 1 part oatmeal, so more a cornmeal kind of thing. And they created a booklet of recipes with corn, including a corn biscuit. It was
The
made,
military. So
Yes.
excited.
It was named by a baker. It was created by a baker named O'Brien, and it would be called the O'Brien biscuit. And the baker who created it won a medal for his services to the crown. The
Wow.
English were like, "This is such a good biscuit
What
made of
a
sad
great
poor
biscuit."
people food that you get a treat." Importers were incredibly mad, though. Merchants that sold goods other than government corn. And one guy had built up reserves of like 7 million pounds of corn, and he had to sell it off at government pricing because it brought the pricing down. So
Yep.
like they're
Sorry about it,
suffering in a
buddy.
different way. So on June 3rd, Trevelyan ordered Ralph to raise the price of the cornmeal to suppress the demand for government food. He's like, too many people want the stuff we're selling to keep them alive. So they raised the
Those
price.
umbrellas seem to be really working with the rain. Let's get our umbrellas
Let's
back.
get our umbrellas back, people. He also said that no step should be taken to replace the cornmeal except in extreme distress. So once the depot's out,
Yeah.
he's like, they're out of corn, so they're out. And they're not replenishing unless it's really, really, really bad.
It's really bad everywhere.
Yes, many
Super
parts
insane.
of the country now were considered in final extremity. There were people crying out in the streets. They were pawning their clothing and their livestock. There wasn't really anything to be bought
pigs are long
anyway.
gone.
The pigs are long gone. People are starving. Districts are without food. And some people are dying. They're so close to death, they're almost unable to give food if it is given it to them. And yet Trevelyan demanded increasing the cost again.
What is happening?
Yeah. By the end of June, he told Roth to start closing down the service. So they're going to shut down corn, but they don't even know
They haven't even planted the potatoes for next year yet.
Well, they've planted them, they haven't sowed them.
Yeah, okay.
Or no, they haven't planted them. You're right. They haven't planted them.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't even know about the next year's crop until August.
And I'm assuming they haven't done, it seems like they haven't done any work to find a potato strain that is not affected by whatever this blight is.
Not much work, no.
Yeah.
Not really. They're more trying to, I don't think they've got into strains. They're more just like different ways to spray with stuff. They don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
And if the blight was to reappear, things would be so much worse. And because they had closed down a system that was kind of terrible, they were going to have to restructure the entire relief system to meet the new level of crisis that would be happening. Also, Trevelyan had warned of making the public works jobs too appealing. But turns out they were pretty appealing.
Oh, yeah?
So the public workers were earning about twice as much as they normally did. And they made the same amount of money no matter how hard they worked. If their job is breaking rocks, they can break one rock, they can break 50.
Yeah.
They're making the same amount of money. And some of the supervisors were pretty tolerable. Some people with lazy overseers could get away with smoking and chatting. And someone said it may be anticipated that the government will be expected to provide work for every laboring man in the country. And that warning was not very far from the mark, because for one brief period in August, the public works labor force, which had averaged between 70 to 100,000 for most of the summer, rose to 560,000 workers.
They built a lot of roads, though.
Yeah. Years after the famine, a guy named William Wilde recalled the summer of 1846 saying, quote, "Ghosts of men would travel several miles through an untread landscape of untended fields and decapitated hills to, quote, break up comparatively good old road or commence an unnecessary new one, leading from nowhere to anywhere." So basically like walking over projects that really would have helped the country to make another road for no reason.
Yep.
First, the agricultural laborers came for the jobs, then the small tenant farmers, then workers from the Shannon River project, because that project was harder, and then the people who had jobs but were paid piecemeal, so paid for what they actually did. Then 60,000 migrant workers all came for these jobs, and they just, the situation is bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. So on June 25th of 1846, there were crowds of people inside both houses of Parliament, because in the upper house, they were going to possibly pass corn law reform. And in the lower house, people were hoping for a coup, a possible plot to take down the Peel government.
Wow.
The corn law did pass, and the Irish crime bill was debated, with Peel losing on that bill by 73 votes when he thought it would only be 21. And that night, when the people walked out, one of them was a guy who would become the next prime minister. We'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
Lord John Russell. So in early July, Ireland felt like they had been helped, that misery had been alleviated, and they had praised for the Queen and for Peel. The landed classers felt out of the pressure zone, and they had donated 98,000. They're like, we did it.
Yep.
There were 700,000 that had been given in loans. The roads projects were a tangled mess that didn't really help anyone, but everybody is kind of walking around high-fiving each other.
Yeah, sure.
But on July 3rd, the newspaper announced that a, quote, few cases of the potato disease had reappeared. No. So we're going to pick it up there next week. Yeah. They're still gooey.
Still pretty bad.
Just still goop taters.
Don't like them goop taters.
Don't like them goop taters.
I just don't like them. I don't like it when my taters make their own gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me sad.
Yeah, because it's death gravy.
Death gravy.
All right. Well, on that note,
Yeah.
that is this week's episode.
Yeah.
Probably two more on
Okay.
Potato Sadness.
Sure.
I'm interested to see what the title ends up being from this
Some
conversation.
potato sadness.
Yeah. Punto.
Puntatoes.
Ground shroud for the ground round. Ground round for the ground shrouds. That makes more sense. Get them food. Ground round for all.
Ground round for all.
If you've been to the ground round,
let us know.
let us know.
And also that impromptu poll about whether or not it was my pun was worth it. You just let us know.
Yes, please do let us know about that. Yeah. Thank you. We do have some new listeners. We have a large new contingent out of Germany, so thank you for joining us. Okay. But yeah, we're always excited to make this podcast. If you guys have any topics that you would like us to try, let us know. I don't know what Danny's doing next. Maybe he's already got it figured out.
Mysteries.
Maybe he doesn't.
I think I do. I just have to watch a documentary.
Sure. Yeah. But like I say every week, we have had a few new little groups of listeners. And if all of you left us a review, it would literally change our lives. So think about doing that. And if not, then keep vibing, bro.
Yeah, keep on vibing.
Next week, we'll tell you more about goopy droops.
Old goopy droops. That's my college nickname is. Not a good one.
Not a good one.
No.
Not something to brag about.
Well, see y'all later.
Thanks for listening, and a big thanks to Carsey Blanton for the theme music. You can follow the podcast everywhere at Yeet the Rich Pod. You can email us your suggestions for future episodes at yeettherichpod@gmail.com. You can follow me at TheFunnyWalsh, and you can follow Danny at DMoss315. See you next week.